quick things. Okay, that's the blue team. I am red team this game, and some things are looking at the team comp, right? So this is a lot of stuff that I think about while going into game. Right here we have a Lucian top, and I don't like Lucian top. I just don't. Like 99% of the times they feed and like they just they push up and they just die to easy ganks. And unfortunately, that's what's going to happen to this game. But I don't want to spoil things too much. Okay. Otherwise, I liked Trundle into this matchup. Actually, picked Trundle second, and they ended up picking like Zac. They ended up picking like Zac afterwards, right? I just always play Trundle these days because I think that he's a easy. At the least, I'm going to be extremely effective. I'm never gonna really feed playing Trundle, and I'm going to always have a great impact on the game. And he's a really good champion right now, in my opinion. Sometimes I don't go for Trundle if we have a lot of tanks. Like if we had like a Galio mid, and we had like a Ornn top. It would be a little troll for me to go to Trundle, even though it would work if we had like a hyper carry like Ezreal, not Ezreal, but like I mean Ezreal could work. Ezreal like a Ezreal brand bot, okay. But most times like I wouldn't pick Trundle that scenario. But here we have a Lucian and a Diana, and that's more than enough damage with the Ezreal, and we have a good amount of CC with my pillar and Thresh's kit. So I like my team comp except for the Lucian top. I hate Lucian top in this elo, and you're gonna see why. In their team, people I'm worried about, obviously Yuumi. Dude, Yuumi. When we if we go to late game with Yuumi, it's so hard to beat their team. So let's just play it and see how it goes. First thing I'm checking for in the early game is I'm gonna check for. I mean, looking at their comp, I know they're not going to invade, and that's because this is the first time I'm actually looking at the blue team's side. See, they were caring for invade because they have a Thresh. We have a Thresh, okay? So I knew that there was no chance that they would actually invade. They would just probably stack or something. So what I went and did is I just wanted to utilize my trinket, my warding trinket early, place it right here in case some weird Zac shenanigans, get my red trinket that will spawn up in 1 minute and 30 seconds. If you guys don't know that technique, even though it went pretty viral, you should definitely utilize it as a jungler. Okay, so obviously they didn't go for any invade. They were trying to stack. I see that the Zac started red, which is not surprising to me. That's what I would assume Zac would start. I'm going to confirm it later on when I see like lanes and whatever. But I just had an obvious inkling that Zac would just start red or something like that, right? Okay, so now we're going for the blue buff here. Solid leash by my team. Things I'm already looking at while doing my blue buff is I was hovering top already and seeing like this guy's already, looking to be aggressive. And that's what you're supposed to do when you play Lucian top. If you play an ADC top, obviously you have to play aggressive, right? Because otherwise it would make no sense for you to play Lucian top, right? It's just I'm gonna follow my. Okay, so my clear that I like to do when I start from blue side, and I know that since Trundle has a really fast clear, I like to do blue, Gromp, and Wolves to get level 3. And the reason why I get level 3 with Wolves instead of red is because it's a little more safe. It's a safer path. Even though I could get level 3 with red buff and go to top really quickly, I already know that the Lucians can be pushed up, and I also know that if I clear by Wolves now, it'll spawn later and give me more EXP. So this is a way to guarantee more EXP in my jungle, through jungle, so that I'm able to go to the top lane still in time because Trundle's clear is extremely fast. Right here, I start checking for wards because I'm looking for a mid gank because Lucian was still a little pushed up, and I start checking around. This area, and this area because I know a lot of mid laners like to ward like here, which is a good ward because sometimes people will start scanning here or whatever and miss that ward. And it also introduces that the moment you see it, instead of like a ward right here, where your reaction time could be a little slower, a ward here will say, oh, he's definitely like coming through and like I have to chill out. Okay. So I just clear it with the scanner. Obviously, I don't even want to look at bot. They gave first blood as an Ezreal Thresh lane, which is really bad, but it is what it is. I'm kind of trying to see one thing here. The reason why I dip here is to see if he did his blue. And I know I had a good inkling that he started red, right? So if he already did his blue, that means he's either on his Gromp, right, or he's doing like a thing that's popular with Zach, where you're trying to just clear a lot of camps and get to level 6 as quickly as possible, because your level 6 is obviously very useful. And Zach's early game, even though he can definitely gank and he does a lot, trust me, um, I'm just trying to check for those things. So I know that Zach's in the vicinity, right? So I got that information. I'm trying to decide what I want to do. I took a look at mid lane to see if he was pushed up, and he's hovering towards this right side, which I thought meant that Zach is probably helping out a little bit on the bot side, even because he might have like done he might have I thought he might have already done his blue, his wolves, and like is going back to the bot side to be in that area. So I was like, I'm not gonna mess with that. So instead, I went to the top side for a little bit and realized that this guy is extremely pushed up. I gotta pause. Give me a second. Hey, what's up? I'm gonna close the door. I also just should be checking chat just to make sure if there's anyone chatting. Okay, no one's here. Okay, cool. Which is fine because I just wanted to practice my VOD review skills. Okay, over here we see, so the Lucian, I'm looking at all this, by the way, and I see that Lucian has insane pressure, but what I also know is that he's extremely easy to gank. There's no ward here, and I don't have a ward, unfortunately, because I have red trinket, right? So I'm telling him, you gotta be careful, bro, you gotta be careful. I do leave. I should have probably hovered. Honestly, in hindsight, I should have probably hovered. But I was so hell-bent. Look at my ping here. I was so hell-bent that he was in bot side because I thought that he did a blue and just dipped to the bot side because, bot had a big lead and I was thinking that they would dive bot and really cement that lead, so I had to make something happen in the top side. But the Zach, you know what he did? He did a weird red Raptors blue buff, which is not super weird, but it's a little unorthodox, I would say. Maybe not for Zach players. I haven't been playing Zach, but he did that. He's gonna get a kill here, and that's all she wrote for that gank. I went ahead and secured my trinket, and I'm like, oh shoot, fine. Zach's top, and Zach's obviously pinging the Lucian flash. So what I need to do at this point is I need to realize two things. One, he obviously didn't get the bot scuttle. Okay, so that means that I'm able to get 2 scuttles for the price of that gank top, which is, you always have to salvage for something, right? And that's how I'm salvaging this play. I'm pinging here because obviously I know Zach's coming from the top side. Okay, so I'm going to secure this double scuttle, which is obviously not as good as a top kill, but we have to take that, right? Now I'm actually looking at this while I take the scuttle. I'm looking at top lane again because I know that they're fighting, and now I'm very happy because the Renekton was able to get a kill, and this kid didn't even flash, which is whatever to me. So I'm here. She has that word here. I'm trying to gank. Well, I counter gank because I know that Zach's looking for a gank. We're able to burn his passive and just dip immediately, which is really good because, all right, this is what happens. 2 things. One is the Renekton burns TP, which is good for Lucian. It's going to be a positive for Lucian. Then we are also able to get Zach passive, which is also pretty critical, right? Okay, so that's going to be helpful for our Lucian, so I was happy with that whole exchange that happened. I'm going to get Raptors here, and I'm going to look to clear, my whole top side. Here's the thing about jungling, right? Even if you have you have a decent amount of gold, you always want to clear your whole one side of the jungle. Oh yeah, so I was either looking for Gromp, but I see that Renekton's extremely pushed up. Okay, but before I get to this part, right? If there was no Renekton pushed up and him being dumb here, I would have just cleared my Gromp and then backed. The reason why you want to clear your whole one side is because it's an optimal way to play the game of League, right? It's not always how you should play. Everything's always situational, but usually you want to clear your one side of the jungle before backing because you don't want to go back to that. Like, let's say, oh, I cleared only Raptors. Then I'm gonna back. Then I'm gonna go for Gromp Wolves, and then like I have to go all the way to Gromp. That's still not like a level 2 Gromp. Level 2 Gromp meaning I didn't clear it yet, so it's not gonna give me as much EXP as it would if I already cleared it before. Okay, so let's go back here. I scanned Trinket. I know that he doesn't have any wards here, right? So this Renekton's clueless. He's clueless and he's playing up. He's playing poorly. He thinks he has an advantage. So I'm going to slow him. He's gonna stun me. You know, the really weird thing to me is he has flash. I thought he burned flash in a previous exchange because yeah, I wasn't watching top the whole time. I thought he burned flash in that fight that they had when Lucian killed him. So that's confusing to me. Yeah, that's really bad on Renekton's part. So I'm happy we got that kill because now if we look at the scoreboard, Lucian's 2-1, 33 CS to 19, and he has a whole level advantage. So I'm happy about top lane. Now I just have to pray that he doesn't feed. Okay. And now, okay, so now my concerns are going into the bot lane. And they didn't do a terrible job. All things considered, right? I was always hovering the bot lane, how they were doing. They're even in CS, even though they gave that first blood kill. And they're not doing a terrible job. So that's, okay, one thing I know about that is that they're not tilting, right? They weren't chatting and tilting, saying jungle come, jungle come. And two, they could be reliable. Okay? So I had some confidence in this game. This is a game that I would not have ever FF'd. Let's continue here. I'm going to get my wolves here. And while always looking at bot, right? I'm always looking at bot. I see that the Zac was there, right? But I want to clear my wolves. Usually, okay, here's the rule, okay? Usually, when you see enemy jungler or like a fight happen and while you're clearing and you're nearby, you have to just dip. You have to dip and go there, right? But here I saw that the Zac gank failed, right? And I know that the Caitlyn's low, but the Zac's still here, like whatever. I'm gonna finish my camp because I know I have time. I know I have time. It's all situational, guys. League, there's no defined like when you do this, do that. When X happens, do Y, right? There's nothing like that. It's always very situational. So here I decided I can clear wolves because I have the time to, and then head down. And I was waiting, crucially waiting to see. So I crucially waited to see that the Zac backed, and then I have free reign to go in. I know Caitlyn burn like doesn't have flash, so I'm hard going on the Caitlyn. Even though Yumi's OP, I know I can get this kill on Caitlyn. Now I know I can get the kill on Yumi because she has nothing, right? So I'm just going, and the Vel'Koz is obviously here. I'm just gonna secure the kill on Yumi because I'm trying to get a little beefy on my own, a little fed, and it is what it is. So this Diana makes a crucial mistake, absolutely crucial mistake. When the Vel'Koz is here, for some reason, first of all, the pathing that the Diana takes. All right, let's look at the pathing that she took because that's very crucial. I was kind of flaming her for this before too. Look at this. Diana's here, right? She walks this way, and this Diana paths this way instead of this way, which is so triggering to me. I saw that happen. I'm like, Diana, what are you doing? Can I show chat? Because I wasn't flaming her, but I was very pissed off. See, no, I said in chat like you pathed wrong. I wasn't trying to flame people, but he literally pathed wrong. But he was a good sport about it. But that was a terrible pathing. Because not only did they have a ward here, right? You could see there was no vision in this side, and also just for the sake of flanking, that's an easy flank to burn a flash and or barrier at the least. Bad gameplay by the Diana. I'm not gonna front. That was a bad gameplay. And now I'm also looking at top. Like I think I pinged it already actually, but I knew that this Lucian was just pushed up. I didn't ping it actually, but this is what the Lucian thought. He said this in chat after he died. He said, "Oh, Zac was literally just bot," but that's not true. He was bot like 40 seconds ago, and you have 40 seconds. You can easily just walk up the top. So that obviously triggered me, but you know, like it is what it is. It's not end game yet. Like is that Renekton's not up like 5 kills, and Lucian's still like even advantage with Renekton. Okay, so I'm looking for this dragon because Zac was just top, right? So alright, see here's the response. I always have a response. Zach got the kill top. Junglers need to try to make something happen on the other side of the map. That's just how League of Legends is. So I hard go for Dragon because they can't contest it. I know that the Zach is topside, so I'm just going for it. People are pinging me not to do it or something like that. I don't know. I'm gonna do what I have to do, which is get Dragon here. Okay. See, they can't contest it. I'm gonna smite it just in case. Get Dragon, and very fortunately for me, Scuttles also spawned in this side of the map, which is great for me because I get a 2-in-1 thing. Get to level 6, which is great. Scuttle's important, guys. It's not super important, but it's definitely important. I'm just gonna clear my jungle here. I'm not giving Diana the blue buff. She I would have gave her the blue buff if she didn't path that way. But the moment she pathed that way, I realized she's not a good player. So I'm not giving her the second blue buff. I'm not giving mid laners a second blue buff if they're not good players. I'm gonna do my blue buff here. Dang, they really have to stop pathing me. Okay. Now I'm doing my Gromp. I'm just doing my full clear while hovering towards like seeing what's going on in the bot side. They're playing back. I know that the bot lane's reliable. That's what I know for sure. So I have hope in this game. Yeah, Renekton died again. It is what it is. You know what? Like at this point, I have established one thing. I'm not gonna even look to see what happened. Delusion is one of those players that get tilted, that feed, that like try to push up like crazy, and just terrible. Just terrible player. He can be a good mechanical player, but his macro awful, absolutely awful. I was actually hovering that mid exchange the whole time, right? And the Diana, fortunately, she got the kill. So what I'm gonna do here is for this Renekton, I know he doesn't really have anything at all, no ult or anything like that. So I'm just gonna kill him. This is a free kill for me. He has nothing. Thank you, Renekton, because you're also a bad player. He's also not a good player, pushing up for no reason. Like these top laners, dude. It's crazy. So what I'm gonna do now is that I know Zach died. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna hard go for the Rift Herald. This is a gamble. I'm telling you right now, this is a gamble. Holy crap. Wait a second. Let me see something. Let me see something real quick. Okay, I hard gambled this Rift Herald because I had to make a play. This is a gamble, by the way, but I want to see their vision. I want to know how to do this. Um, Fog of War, blue. Okay, let me see the Vel'Koz. Oh my gosh, this Vel'Koz trolled. This Vel'Koz trolled. Yo, if they found that I was doing Rift Herald, if he walked up a little more, then that would have been bad for the game. For the momentum of the game, that would have been really bad. I also have a 200 gold shutdown. Like, I mean, I would have just dipped right immediately, but getting Rift Herald was really good for us.